Hey, what's going on, guys? We've got another Demi kit to look at here from the HG Witch from Mercury line. So we have the Demi trainer and Chuchu's Demi trainer. Now we have the Demi Barding, which does look really cool. I've got to say, the huge backpack and like the big weaponry that it has with the cannons and everything on the backpack all look really, really cool on this one. Otherwise, there are going to be some changes to the core mobile suit as well. But if you wanted like the Demi trainer, but with some bigger kind of equipment on it, then this one's definitely going to be for you. Let's go ahead and get into it here for today's video. But anyway, guys, starting off taking a look at the box art here for this. As always, some really cool box art for this series. Really nice lighting effects and that kind of subtle weathered look that you get from just the way that the artwork is painted here for these. So really, really cool artwork on this one. Around here on the side of the box, you can see this is number 23 in the line. And then on the bottom, we have sort of a recreation of the box art here with the painted kit there, showing off a few of the different weapons and poses that you can do here with this, with the beam saber, its rifle, which is a pretty cool looking rifle there as well. I mean, I talked a lot about in the kind of opening about the backpack, but that rifle is also really cool. So there you can see some more of the backpack anyway. And here's the unpainted sample right there, straight out of the box. It is going to be looking quite nice. On the other side, just a front and back view of the fully painted kit there. Over here, a little bit of character information here about Chuchu and then about the story there as well. Let's go ahead and pop open the box, and we'll take a look at all the runners here in just a moment. Interesting to know here inside, we've got an advertisement for GBWC, for this being the 11th GBWC, so check the details on that if you guys are interested in joining. But here we've got the instruction manual with the box art image there, just minus the background. Always kind of cool to see it just set against the white background there. At the bottom here, once again, a little bit about the mobile suit and the pilot. That information is all in Japanese and in English. And then around here on the back side, once again, we have the illustration where, as usual, the colors of the illustration don't match the colors of the mobile suit. That always kind of seems weird to me. Does that, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care. I mean, if you want it to be the right colors, you know, the option is always there to paint it, of course, but it does always kind of seem weird that the colors don't match on those. Anyway, we've got the Beam Rifle Plus, the Fist Vulcan. It's also pretty cool there. The Bowery Pack, which comes off on the wire there like that. That's pretty awesome. The Beam Saber and the Wheel Dash Boost there at the feet as well. And then over here on the side, we've got the color guide there for you in Japanese and in English. Now, I wonder if those colors match this illustration or match this model kit. I would imagine they match the model kit probably, but here on the inside, we've got our parts list, which is there in full color, and the first couple parts of the construction also in full color there. But then the inside for the rest of the construction here is all just going to be in black and white for all of that. So looks very good. For some other bits we have included in here, we've got these foil stickers, mostly for the cameras, and a couple of little small color apps, a couple of little bit larger ones, which is not the best, but we'll see how those look on the kit. We do also have this wire here for the backpack, which is quite long in this case. It's actually 30 centimeters long. As you can see, it's pretty thin as well, so not going to be able to hold up any weight. You are going to need to use some sort of stand with this. Kicking off the runners then with runner A, we don't have any polycaps with this. It's just in two colors, our kind of warm gray color at the top and bottom for some of the mechanical bits, and this warm cream white kind of color there for the armor. Skipping ahead to runner C here for some more warm kind of tannish gray color parts there for the mechanical parts. And then up next, runner E is going to be our new runner here for this kit, which is in 4 colors. So some more of that gray along the sides, some more of that white we've seen up at there at the top, a clear green part here for the new part in the head, and then that kind of yellowish tannish color there for the main color of the armor. Lastly then, runner F is going to be a bunch more parts in that gray color here for the weaponry and equipment parts for the backpack and all that good stuff. So that's it for the runners. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up. It is definitely very cool. I do love the look of this, how it has that same kind of familiar grunt look of the regular Demi trainer, but it definitely looks like a very kind of like super custom version, sort of like a Jesta kind of the series, if you get what I mean there, with the big boosters on like the shoulders and everything, all like the added equipment on it. And then of course, obviously it's got this big massive backpack with the, I love like the head camera on the backpack and everything, and that should be a very cool accessory to try out on the wire. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that we have here first, and then we'll try out some different posing and stuff with it. So one of the accessories I actually kind of missed when we were going through the runners in that portion of the video. We had the runner of the effect parts for the beam sabers, but that's all pretty standard. You guys have all seen what a runner of beam saber effect parts looks like. So that's our beam saber effect parts in clear pink. The beam sabers themselves are actually stored right here on, or the handles I should say, are stored here on these parts on the side of the leg. We'll come back to those in just a second because there's another interesting aspect about those. As for our hand options, all we got here is just the 2 holding hands, which you can see there on the kit. But to hold, we've got, aside from the beam sabers, of course, we've also got our rifle, which has the 2 stickers right there for the camera on that. Otherwise, it's pretty simple, just a couple of parts put together. The seam line is hidden as just a detail line around that, so you don't need to worry too much about it. The main handle doesn't move. The secondary handle here on the side does move a little bit up and down though, so if you need to adjust that for the pose. But you'll notice it also has this extra little tab here at the back. That's for plugging right in here to the forearm, just for some added stability. Really kind of unnecessary, as the kit itself is stable enough on its own, and the rifle doesn't weigh all that much, but just for the effect, that plugs into the hand and the forearm there, so you have a really nice solid connection there for that weapon. Other than that, all we've got here is just that wire and the connection pieces, which you'll need to use for that, for plugging this onto a stand. The backpack, let's go ahead and pop this off here. That comes off, and we've got our standard 2-peg adapter right there in the backpack for plugging any other different backpack parts onto this if you wanted to, or just the single hole there in the center. We're going to use that just for our place for plugging in the wire, like so. The other end then obviously goes into here and then plugs onto the base. But for the backpack itself, the head on the top will turn left and right. Obviously another sticker right there for that lens on that. And I like how it looks like this vent right here can move like kind of along this track system. It doesn't actually move, but at least it looks like it could. The cannons on this will move up and down. Then you also have a secondary point of movement right here for those, for when this is actually plugged onto the back. You can move this up and kind of over the shoulder, as we'll see in some other different poses here in just a bit. But the other parts of the backpack over here on the side are just on ball joints, so you can move these around a little bit, kind of change the angle, rotate them. These are just supposed to be the thruster parts of the backpack here, right? So all that aside, just going back here to the main kit to talk about the rest of the stickers that we have for this. That foil green sticker there on the chest for that kind of camera bit there. In the head, we don't have actually stickers for any of these clear parts in the head. It's just this one single clear part for like the main lens there in the center, but you can actually see the clear part all the way around the head, as you have that nice line of that clear green part right there. Most of the stickers are going to be for these vernier bits right here on the sides of the chest, the ones on the front and back of the shoulders there, here, and then up on the top as well, one right there, and then another gray sticker right here. Kind of unfortunate that those had to be separate stickers, because you have this gray part right here, which gives us the detail of the vent on the side and this kind of hose bit here on the bottom. It would have been nice if they would have been able to make that gray part in a way so that it gives us those details on the bottom, and then also the details here on the top kind of poking through. But not too bad to have to paint those parts in. And if you're wondering if that black circle there is an actual like 3mm hole to be able to like plug stuff into there, sort of akin to like a 30 minutes missions kit or something like that, there's not an actual holder. There is this circle design is there, but if you wanted to actually plug something into that, you'll have to drill a hole into the shoulder there. It's kind of an uneven surface though, so it wouldn't really work too well visually, I think, maybe to have something plugged into the top of this shoulder, which is already kind of a complex design there. But if you did want to do that, you will have to drill a hole. Otherwise, no stickers here for the rest of the body. All the articulation is pretty standard. We have really nice articulation throughout, as we've seen with previous versions of this kit. Double joint in the knee is nice. Single joint in the elbow is less desirable, but at least we have a pretty good range of movement there at the elbow, even though it is just a single joint. On the side of the arm, a hard point here if you wanted to plug something else onto there. We don't have anything included that plugs onto the side of the arm, but any other kind of option parts or shield or anything that you might want to put onto there, you can do. I did want to kind of take special note here of this part on the side, as this is kind of an interesting part on the side of the knee. This will actually move up and down here, which is kind of cool. So it's on a little track that allows that to move up and down. and then you can also rotate that forward and back. I think it would be kind of cool to maybe replace this beam saber handle. I guess what you could do is just drill a little hole in that, but I think like a larger barrel would kind of look more interesting. Replace that with just like a piece of plot plate pipe there, and maybe a little bit larger size, and just to basically make this look like a beam cannon. Essentially, that's just kind of there on the side of its leg that can be rotated forward for when it's in use. I think that would look pretty cool. It would make for a pretty easy customization to make on this, just to have some big beam cannons there on the side of the leg. Anyway, with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and just take a look at some poses here with this. Like we've seen with the past Demi Trainer kits, and like I mentioned before, the articulation on these is really nice. I mean, that's been the case for all of the Witch from Mercury line, is that the kits are really fun to pose. So if you are the kind of person that does like to change up the poses on your kits, likes to play around with them a little bit, try out different poses and everything like that, even though a lot of the kits in the line are limited in like the elbow joint, for example, only being a single joint, and there are some limitations to the articulation on some of them. Some of the larger, like bulkier designs, like the Delanza, for example, being sort of like a much more chunkier design. Despite those kind of small bits that you would think might be hindrances to the articulation, they're all actually really fun and really quite easy to pose in all sorts of different poses, so that is really nice. The fact that this doesn't come with some sort of extra little display stand for the backpack is a little bit disappointing, although Bandai makes that separate display set like specifically for Witch from Mercury kits. So I would say, you know, if you're collecting some of the HG Witch from Mercury kits and you don't have one of those accessory stands yet, I would definitely recommend picking up one or two, just because, you know, if you're collecting some kits in the line, there's quite a few kits in this line that can take advantage of those extra little bases for the effect parts and everything. So I would recommend grabbing a couple of those if you're enjoying these kits, and having one of those extra little bases definitely comes in handy for this particular kit, of course. If you already have one or both of the previous versions of the Demi Trainer and you're wondering if you really want to get a third one, I think that this one is definitely worth picking up, even if you already have both of the previous versions, just because the new aspects to this are really cool. The new equipment that it has, especially that backpack, of course, is going to be kind of the main thing. And I think just like with the previous versions as well, even though this does have a lot of equipment kind of added onto it compared to the kind of very streamlined design of just the regular Demi Trainer, for example, there's still definitely plenty of room for customization on this. So I think this is one that we'll definitely see a lot of really cool and fun customs of this one coming out as well. And not only custom versions of this, but I think probably using parts from this kit to customize other kits as well. Like that backpack, for example, I'm sure we'll see turning up on all sorts of different mobile suits and things in the future. It's a really cool backpack, and it's one of the multiple really cool aspects of this kit that I think could be very easily kit bashed onto other kits to great success. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Demi Barding? And if you guys want to check it out or any other kits from the line, of course you can do so at USA Gundam Store. The link will be down in the video description. Thank you guys all so much for checking out the video today. Like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I do really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye guys.